Hola a todos. Welcome to CSPS Learning. I'm Miss Chanel, and what I'm going to do with you all today is to go through the CSEC Spanish Paper 1 exam specifically for 2019. All right. Now, even more specifically, I'm not actually going to do the entire paper today. We're going to look at just part A and have a really focused approach regarding the listening comprehension section. All right. So if you were not aware before, if you were not aware before, all modern languages, which for CXC would be French, Spanish, and Portuguesa, there are two parts for the paper 1 multiple choice exam. First part is part A is the listening comprehension exam, and part B is the reading comprehension. So the listening profile is tested in part A of the multiple choice. All right, so we're going to specifically focus on that section. It's a very unique section. There are little unique things that happen in that section, and even more beneficial to you, it's repetitive. All right, you will see how repetitive it gets in this series. Okay, what's really crucial about doing this, because I'm not doing the entire paper, right? Some people are like, oh my god, not the entire paper, must be not making sense. But the reason I'm not doing the entire paper is because of the fact that this tests the listening profile. And the majority of students, my guesstimate is 95%, 95% of students have not been in any way, shape, or form really trained in terms of listening. All right, and developing your listening skill. You're kind of left on your own to develop your listening skill, very happenstance, right? It's haphazard. So we're going to go through this. You can see some of these things that you would have to do for this section. For this part of the paper, each part has separate sections, yeah. And what it requires. I also know, unfortunately, that most people have never even seen this, or have no knowledge of what it looks like, or have no knowledge of what you need to do for, or actually never even knew there was a listening comprehension. So I hope this helps you, and without further ado, let us get started. Okay, so what we're looking at is the exact sheet you should get as a student. There's actually also a separate sheet called the teacher's copy, the teacher's script, and that is how the teacher is able to conduct the listening comprehension section of the exam. As you can see, it's going to be a guided exam, guided 45 minutes, and okay, wonderful. So I actually had to pause to pause the video. So I'll try to remember where I was. If I repeat anything, well, hey, better for you, right? Okay, cool. So as we start the paper, part A, you're looking at section 1, right? Section 1 would be these beautifully, interestingly illustrated scenes, and you are allowed actually time. This is how the examiner conducted. You're allowed time to look at the 4 scenes that you're given, all interestingly illustrated, and you're given 15 seconds to do that, and then the examiner is going to actually read the sentence. So for each scene, there is a single sentence, one sentence that is read only once, and you must pick the appropriate response. Or no, you get 15 seconds to look. You hear the the sentence in Spanish, then you get another 15 seconds, and then you're going on to the next sentence. Okay, so again, plan your time wisely for this section. And now I'm going to go through this actual section, and you are going to hear the response. So I'm going to give the response, let you know what the answer is, and then I'm going to explain, how do you say? Oh, and then I'm going to translate translate the actual response. Bueno. So the first is, el padre le corta el pelo a su hijo. All right, for the benefit of you, I'm going to repeat it. El padre le corta el pelo a su hijo. All right, so that is actually going to be D. El padre, the father, le corta el pelo a su hijo. He cuts his son's hair. So D fits that response the best. Bueno. So let's look at the others. Right? So anybody who's familiar with doing past papers, we are already in Repeatsville. We're in Repeatsville, right? So question 2. You see all the scenes, all interestingly illustrated. El director habla con los alumnos. Again, for your benefit, I'm going to repeat in the sentence, in the section. In the exam, there would be no repeats. Pardon. El director habla con los alumnos. All right, so the answer for this one is A. 2 is A. El director, the principal, habla con, speaks with los alumnos, the students, right? One of the keys here, one of the key factors here for you to know this picture is correct as well, that's what I think, is the fact that the word alumnos is generally used for primary school age children. And they look kind of tiny. They look a little primary schoolish, right? Yeah. Primary or elementary school, right? Number 3, cuidado. Deben nadar entre las banderas. Cuidado. Deben nadar entre las banderas. All right, so the answer for number 3 is D, right here, D for Delta. So, cuidado, be careful. Deben nadar entre las banderas. You must swim between the flags, all right? This is one that actually gives students a little confusion. It does confuse students a bit because you're seeing the flags, and then you hear cuidado, you must swim between the flags. But the real key here is that somebody is saying it. So that's why D is correct. And he's actually telling them, go swim in the flags. Why not? Really good then. Number 4, this one is also pretty popular. Yeah, it's a popular one. 4 and 5 are popular actually. So 4 is la hermosa sirve la comida. La hermosa sirve la comida. Right? So if you've gotten it correct, then your answer would be D. Okay, so la hermosa would be flight attendant. The flight attendant serves the meal. And I said la hermosa would be a female. You see a female in this picture. It obviously looks like a cabin of a plane. And she is serving some sort of meal. Doesn't look appetizing from here, but hey, it's food, right? It's definitely going to be more in line than the other pictures, yeah? So 4 is D. Number 5, some people already know the answer without me even saying anything, right? So I'm going to give you a sentence for number 5. 5 is, la mujer está colgando la ropa. La mujer está colgando la ropa. And that would be B. The woman is hanging the clothes, right? The woman is hanging the clothes. Some people might like, oh, la ropa, right? How do you say la ropa? But la ropa does mean clothes, right? It doesn't just mean one item of clothes. It does mean collective noun, clothes in español, né? Bueno, let us go on. Let's go on. So let's look at 6. Right now, you can see 6, 7, nice. So we're looking at number 6. And for this one, we're seeing la mujer es modista. La mujer es modista. And the answer for this would be C, right? The woman is a seamstress. I believe modista can also mean fashion designer as well. So 6 is C. C for Charlie. Number 7. Right, so 6 is C right there. Bueno. Now for 7, la pimienta negra les hace estornudar. La pimienta negra les hace estornudar. All right, so the answer for C7 is actually going to be B. It's actually going to be B. All right, the black pepper makes them sneeze. The black pepper, she's obviously putting black pepper in a pot, maybe it's soup. I want to say soup, and they are sneezing. All right, so 7 is B. Let's go on. Let me just clear the annotations. Nice. So looking at 7 now. And sorry, we're looking at 8 now, forgive me. And it's la nevera está abierta. La nevera está abierta. If you said D, then you are correct. So la nevera is a fridge or refrigerator. Está abierta, it's open. All right, so D definitely displays that event happening. All right, and we are actually done with the first section in the 2019 paper. Yeah. Okay, wonderful. So now we're going on to section 2 on the listening comprehension. This section is, I like this section because it does repeat. So it's very beneficial to you in terms of making it easier for yourself for the exam. This section as well, one thing I like is that you actually hear the sentences twice. So you're going to hear a particular sentence, more like a scenario, you're going to hear it twice. And then after, you're now going to be asked the actual question that you need to respond to when you pick an option, or a sentence that you need to complete with your option. All right. Again, be mindful, this is listening comprehension. So you are going to be given situations that you need to determine and figure out as much as possible. All right. So I'm going to start with this. So number 9. Mamá, gane el concurso de pintura. ¡Qué maravilloso! Mamá, gane el concurso de pintura. ¡Qué maravilloso! ¿Cómo se siente esta persona? All right, so that's how this section is done. You hear the first line twice. This is for number 9, by the way. You hear the first line twice, and then you actually hear the question. So I'm going to repeat it one more time so you can feel the full effect of it, yeah? Mamá, gane el concurso de pintura. ¡Qué maravilloso! Mamá, gane el concurso de pintura. ¡Qué maravilloso! ¿Cómo se siente esta persona? All right, so if you're on the ball, you've already got contenta down. All right, so what it translates to is, Mama, I won the painting competition. Concurso is competition, yeah? Qué maravilloso, how wonderful. ¿Cómo se siente esta persona? How does this person feel? This person feels contenta. Contenta means happy, yeah? The word contenta actually means happy. Yeah, phenomenal, no? Good. So what other, let me just give you an idea of what the others mean. So frustrada will be frustrated. Desolada would be desolate. Contenta, as we know, happy, and rica would be rich, right? Bueno. Okay, so number 10 now. Necesito estudiar para un examen. Necesito estudiar para un examen. ¿A dónde va este alumno? So for 10, we have A, B, C, D. Your option is actually going to be D. D is your answer right there. All right, so 10 is D. So this person is actually saying, necesito estudiar para un examen. I need to study for an exam, right? I need to study for an exam. ¿A dónde va este alumno? Where is the student going to go? Where is the student going? A una biblioteca. Una biblioteca is exactly, it's a library. Now, here's what people get confused with. People want to put a una librería. Now, yes, there's the word libro in it, but una librería is a bookshop. So he's not going to go to a bookshop to study. Now, we have sastrería, which is kind of like a tailor shop, seamstress shop kind of thing, yeah? Un almacón is an error. That should be almacén. Almacén is like a storehouse, right? So this is actually an error in the paper. It's not supposed to be here. It's a wrong word, yeah? So 10 ultimately is D. Bueno, number 11. Todo el mundo está sentado a la mesa a punto de comer. Todo el mundo está sentado a la mesa a punto de comer. ¿Qué dice la madre? Right? So 11 is B. Let me explain. Todo el mundo, everyone, está sentado a la mesa, is sitting at the table, a punto de comer, about to eat. ¿Qué dice la madre? This is a cultural thing. She's basically saying, have a good meal, enjoy. That's buen provecho. It's just an expression, right? So buen provecho is the answer. 11 is B. For 12, bueno, señor, su asiento es el número cerca de la ventanilla. Está en primera clase. Bueno, señor, su asiento es el número cerca de la ventanilla. Está en primera clase. ¿Con quién habla esta persona? This is a little tricky one, all right? This is actually a fairly new question for 2019. I've never seen this question before. So possibly a repeat question, right? Because again, this is a repeat bill here. If you did not know, number 9, number 11 are big repeats. To be quite honest, number 13, number 14, number 15 are also fairly common repeats when we get to them, all right? So for 12, let me explain what it is, right? I'm gonna translate the lines in Spanish and then I'm gonna give the answer here. So, bueno señor, good sir, or well sir, su asiento es el número cerca de la ventanilla. Your seat number is close to the window, or your seat is a number that's close to the window, right? Está en primera clase. It's in first class. Now we could already tell we're supposed to be on a plane, right? Or a train, but for us, a plane, right? That's the type of transportation that's gonna have window seat, aisle seat, first class, stuff like that, yeah? Bueno. ¿Con quién habla esta persona? ¿Con quién habla esta persona? This is the question you're asking. With whom is this person speaking, right? So we have to figure out who's speaking. Who's gonna give you information like this? Like, hey sir, your seat is there. Your seat is in first class. Who's gonna give you that information on a plane? It's gonna be the flight attendant, right? Who's that person going to speak to? They're going to speak to the, exactamente, to the passenger, yeah? So 12 is actually C, pasajero, yeah? Pasajero. Let me translate, look, azafata. Azafata is another word for flight attendant. So we already saw hermosa. We also now have azafata. El paisaje is countryside. Pasajero, passenger. And la aduanera is actually like customs office, yeah? Well, 12 is C. 13. Llueve mucho y no veo bien la carretera. Llueve mucho y no veo bien la carretera. ¿Cómo debe conducir el chofer? Right? 13 is actually D. Con cuidado. Voy a explicar. It's raining a lot. Llueve mucho. It's raining a lot. Y no veo bien la carretera. And I can't see the road clearly. I can't see the road well. ¿Cómo debe conducir el chofer? So if it's raining, can't see the road clearly, how do you want the person driving to actually drive? You want them to drive carefully. Con cuidado. Con cuidado would be carefully, right? Spelling, right? I forgot the R. See, good. So that's carefully. Let me give you the others. Con estilo is with style. Con rapidez. Con rapidez is faster. Con permiso is, ¿cómo se dice? Con permiso is with permission. Right, and we also have con cuidado already. So that's already said. Bueno. So now number 14. La cuenta, por favor, camarero. La cuenta, por favor, camarero. Este cliente quiere. ¿Qué quiere este cliente? ¿Qué piensas? Now, if your option is B for 14, then you are correct. Salir del restaurante. Voy a explicarlo. I'm going to explain it, right? So, la cuenta, por favor, camarero. The bill, please, waiter. We're in a restaurant. Yeah? Este cliente quiere, this client wants to, what does this person want to do? They want to leave the restaurant. You ask for the bill when you're leaving the restaurant. All right, so that's why B is the correct answer. Bueno. Number 15. El aceite está bastante caliente para freír el pescado. El aceite está bastante caliente para freír el pescado. ¿Qué va a hacer esta persona? I think this one confuses some students a lot. Es actually cocinar. So voy a explicar. El aceite, the oil. Aceite is oil, like cooking oil. Yeah. So el aceite está bastante caliente. It's hot enough para freír el pescado. To fry the fish, right? ¿Qué va a hacer esta persona? What is this person going to do? This person is going to cook, right? A lot of people hear the word pescado, lo siento, and some people will pick pescar. Pescar means to fish, so it's not the answer, correct answer. Then there's ser estudiar, to study. We're definitely not doing that. We are doing C. We're cooking some fried fish, right? 16 now. Señor, no tengo mis deberes hoy. Señor, no tengo mis deberes hoy. ¿Dónde está la persona que habla? All right. So let me translate 16 is C. You also see me putting the answer here. Señor, sir, no tengo mis deberes hoy. I don't have my homework today. You got it? Yeah, you get it, right? So, sir, I don't have my homework today. Where is this person? Where is the person who's speaking? They're in a school. Yeah, that's going to be the most logical option. And that is it. We are done with section 2 already. So we actually have 2 more sections to go. Section 3 is going to be the public announcements. There are actually 2 separate selections here. Yeah, short. Obviously, they're in Spanish. You got to hear that twice. And then you get 3 questions each. And those questions are asked in Espanol. The responses are in Espanol también. Bueno, so we're going to look at that now. Bueno, so you're looking at what you would see for section 3 in terms of the student copy. Obviously, my copy's got a lot more information as the teacher's copy, but this is what you would see. So first selection is going to be separate from the second selection, right? First selection is going to have more information on first selection is going to be about one particular passage. Second selection is going to be a separate announcement. On the right on the screen. Oh yeah, good. So it's going to be a separate announcement. So basically, when you're getting the first announcement, you're only going to need to pay attention to 17, 18, and 19. When you're doing the second selection, you only need to pay attention to 20, 21, 22. There is no kind of it's not going to be mixed up, right? They're all individual selections, and guess what I'm going to say? They repeat. All right, so this first one that we're going to do here, I actually call this 10th anniversary. The second selection, I call that one La Línea Sur, and you're going to hear why, right? As I said before, this selection will be read. You even see it in the instructions. You get an idea of what you're going to do in the instructions, right? In terms of how it's read, the first time it's supposed to be read at normal speed. That does not necessarily mean rapid fire. They understand that your listening skills are probably at beginner level, so it should not be it should be something like machine gun fire, right? So you're going to hear it read normally the first time. The second time it's going to be a lot more slowly. You should be able to digest it and kind of plan for responses. What I would also say is that you hear the passage or the announcement. Again, this is an announcement. You hear the announcement and then you get asked the question. So you are seeing options here. You don't know what the questions are until after the announcements are read twice. So I do suggest that you could use this time to kind of take a look at the options. Not a bad thing to do, and just know sort of what some of the options are, so you can hone in for key answers, right? Honing for key answers means listening to probably, if not the exact word coming up, probably similar, but again, you still have to be careful because you don't want to just hear the keywords. You need to understand the gist of the entire selection, all right? When I say selection, these are actually, again, very short. Some of them are probably no more than 3 to 4 sentences. The longest I've seen is about 4 sentences. Again, todo en español, right? It is all in Spanish. Todo en español, right? Bueno, so voy a comenzar. I'm going to begin now. I'm going to read the first selection. Again, I simply call this 10th anniversary, just for ease of reference because I've seen it before. Bueno. Let's go. Atención estudiantes. Deseamos celebrar el 10º aniversario de nuestra escuela con un desayuno para nuestros exalumnos y profesores. Esta celebración se llevará a cabo el domingo 2 de marzo en la cafetería. Los boletos se pueden obtener en la oficina a partir de hoy hasta el viernes 28 del presente mes. Right, so we take a deep breath. I am going to do the second reading for this selection, and I'm going to read it a bit more slowly this time, as per the instructions. Bueno. Atención, estudiantes. Deseamos celebrar el 10º aniversario de nuestra escuela con un desayuno para nuestros exalumnos y profesores. Esta celebración se llevará a cabo el domingo 2 de marzo en la cafetería. Los boletos se pueden obtener en la oficina a partir de hoy hasta el viernes 28 del presente mes. Bueno, hope that was easy. So let me begin with question 17. There's a approximately 15-second delay between each question. So you have that time to put in your response. Bueno. So we'll do all three, and then I'll go back and give you the answers. And then I will translate what I read. I'm trying to make this as fair as possible, because I know some of you all are actually trying to answer this and train yourself at the same time. So this way, you train yourself for responding, train your listening as much as you can, and you get an idea of what the actual translation is. Yeah, so we're covering all the bases. Question number 17. ¿Hace cuántos años comenzó la escuela? Right, so A, B, C, or D there. Question 18. ¿Cuándo se celebrará el aniversario? So A, B, C, or D. And question number 19. ¿Dónde se pueden conseguir las entradas? Beautiful, good. So let's review the questions, yeah? Question 17. ¿Hace cuántos años comenzó la escuela? ¿Hace cuántos años comenzó la escuela? How long ago did the school begin? How many years ago? How long ago? Right now. So it's hace 10 años, porque se celebran su 10º aniversario. The word décimo means 10th. I know. Question 18. ¿Cuándo se celebrará el aniversario? ¿Cuándo se celebrará el aniversario? When will the anniversary be celebrated? What's the date of the anniversary? Yeah, se llevará a cabo el domingo 2 de marzo. So 18 is actually A. Oh man, I'm forgetting to put it up here. So 17 is A. Did I tell you 17 was B just now? Oh my God, lo siento if I did, huh? Lo siento. So 17 is A, hace 10 años. Forgive me if I did. Wow. 18 is A as well, el 2 de marzo. Oh my gosh, Dios mío. Right, so 17 is A, hace 10 años, because the school began 10 years ago. And 18 is A, el 2 de marzo. That's when they're actually going to celebrate it, right? And 19, ¿dónde se pueden conseguir las entradas? ¿Dónde se pueden conseguir las entradas? Where can you get the ticket? Los boletos se pueden obtener en la oficina, right? So they're going to get the tickets en la oficina, 19, B, all right? So I'm going to repeat this, and I'm going to, again, translate it. Bueno. Atención, estudiantes. Attention, students. Deseamos celebrar el 10º aniversario de nuestra escuela. We want to celebrate the 10th anniversary of our school con un desayuno para nuestros exalumnos y profesores. With a breakfast, desayuno, para nuestros exalumnos y profesores. Right, so breakfast for our ex-students and teachers, yeah? Esta celebración se llevará a cabo. This celebration will occur. Llevar a cabo is to occur, yeah? Will happen. Bueno. Esta celebración se llevará a cabo. They use future tense here as well, so llevará. Se llevará a cabo el domingo 2 de marzo en la cafetería. So it will happen on Sunday, 2nd of March in the cafeteria. Los boletos se pueden obtener, the tickets can be obtained en la oficina, in the office, a partir de hoy, from today, hasta el viernes 28 del presente mes. So tickets are available from today until Friday, the 28th of this present month. Okay, so we're done with the first selection, 10th anniversary. We are going to use the same format and we're going to go ahead with the second selection. Again, I call this selection La Línea Sur, and you're going to figure out why. Bueno, let's begin. Buenos días, señores pasajeros. La Línea Sur anuncia la salida de su vuelo 48 con destino final Santiago de Chile, con escalas en Bogotá y Caracas, en 30 minutos. Hagan el favor de abordar por la puerta número 16. So that's the first reading. I'm going to read slower, right? I'm going to read much slower right now, right? A slower pace, yeah? Buenos días, señores pasajeros. La Línea Sur anuncia la salida de su vuelo 48 con destino final Santiago de Chile, con escalas en Bogotá y Caracas en 30 minutos. Hagan el favor de abordar por la puerta número 16. It's hard for me to read in Spanish. It's very breathless. It's very tiring. Bueno, so I'm going to give you the questions and then we're going to translate, right? By now you should figure out La Línea Sur. Hopefully you figured out where are the airports. I hope so, right? Okay, good. Question 20. ¿Dónde se escucha este anuncio? Question 21. ¿Cuál es el destino final? Question 22. ¿Cuándo saldrá el vuelo? Beautiful. Okay. So question 20. ¿Dónde se escucha este anuncio? ¿Dónde se escucha este anuncio? Where is this announcement heard? En el aeropuerto. Porque estamos en el aeropuerto. Bueno. 21. ¿Cuál es el destino final? ¿Cuál es el destino final? What is the final destination? Pues, por supuesto, vamos a Santiago de Chile. We are going to Chile, not child, and not Chile, because we're doing Spanish right now and we're using Spanish accent. Yeah, so we're going to pronounce it Chile. Bueno. 22. ¿Cuándo saldrá el vuelo? ¿Cuándo saldrá el vuelo? When will the flight leave? When will the flight depart? En media hora. En media hora. Bueno. Muchas. Muy bien. Good. So let me read the passage, announce. I keep calling it a passage. This is not a passage. The passage is coming up. Section 4 is the passage. I'm going to reread the second selection, La Línea Sur, and then I'm going to translate it as well. Bueno. Buenos días, señores pasajeros. Good day, dear, kind, lovely passengers. That's my translation of it, okay? Please be respectful by saying señores pasajeros. La Línea Sur anuncia la salida. Línea Sur, I don't want to translate it, that's probably the name of the airline, but it will translate as probably Southern Line. So La Línea Sur announces the departure de su vuelo 48, departure of flight 48, con destino final Santiago de Chile, with the final destination of Santiago de Chile, con escalas en Bogotá y Caracas, with stops in Bogotá and Caracas, en 30 minutos, in 30 minutes. It's a kind of long sentence, isn't it? Yeah, it's kind of long. Hagan el favor de abordar por la puerta número 16. So please board at gate number 16. Bueno. All right. So let's go to the questions here right now. Let's go to the questions right now. So question number 20. Well, we did the questions. Lo siento. Guys, I'm a little tired. Lo siento. I'm actually recording this because I recorded this yesterday and it did not save. So lo siento. But we've covered the questions. You all understand what it means and you understand what this means. Again, these selections repeat. All right, I cannot stress how much they repeat. In fact, I've said that I think this is probably a very boring paper to do. After you've done like a couple, Spanish becomes very boring to do. At least in Spanish, I know that. So one of the things I like to warn students about is to still be very alert and attentive as much as possible for this particular paper, because you don't want to get complacent. The reason that I should say that is because sometimes they change one or two words. I've seen it happen before. They might change one word. So I think there's a reading passage where they change the word padres to parientes. So they switch from parents to relatives. That's a simple change, yeah? But if you see padres in the option and you're accustomed to padres and you put your padres down and the answer is parientes, you understand? Exactly, you understand. So still, you still have to be very aware, you still have to be very alert in this exam, and you have to practice being alert. And you're going to see why. We're going to move on to section 4 with the passage, which requires you to be a bit alert. I like it, but you still have to be alert. Okay, so we are now here at the final section of the first part A of the Spanish multiple choice paper. So basically we're at the last section of the listening comprehension, right? This section is a passage that's split into two parts, part A and part B. They all deal with one passage. It's got a lot of pros, it's got some cons, right? So the first thing I want to explain is what you would see in your paper. So in your paper, you're going to see the title of this one is First Date. I think this is a really important passage to understand because this is the first time I've seen it in 2019. So you never know, it may come back in 2020. You would see part A and part B, and under each part there are a certain number of questions. Whatever you hear for part A is, whatever questions you see under part A will all be found in the part A reading. You're going to understand me just now, right? Whatever questions you see for part B, the responses are in the part B reading, all right? Why am I saying part A and part B reading? Because you're going to get one long reading passage, and that reading passage is going to be separated into two paragraphs. Paragraph 1 is part A, paragraph 2 is part B, okay? Now, to understand how this section works, again, yes, you're getting paragraphs, and you're probably only worried, but you're going to get a lot of time with this section. These are the actual instructions that are here in the teacher script. It says you should be read at normal pace. First and last complete readings take 1.5 minutes. So we're supposed to take our time and read it. I can't give you that luxury right now, so I'm just going to read it. Probably not too fast, but probably not that slow either, because I really want you to just hear the passage, lo siento, but time, right? You're saying it should convey changes of voice in dialogue. I've heard some students say their teachers don't do that. I don't know. And there should, but no explanatory gestures. So there should be no gestures. But you should hear changes in intonation for certain parts. Why do I mention that? Because sometimes you'll get a passage and there'll be dialogue, or there'll be phrases with that indicate exclamation, surprise, shock, anger, things like that, right? So how is this section conducted, right? You're going to hear the entire passage straight through once, which means you're going to read both part A and B, both paragraphs, right? You're not supposed to be writing anything, you're just going to listen, yeah? After that reading, then you're allowed to look at the questions in English on the text. If you're smart, you should already know what's coming up, right? Because the questions don't change too often. Again, it's a CXC, but for the most part, the questions don't change too often, right? So you look at the questions, you're allowed 3 minutes to read the questions and make notes. So understand the process. The entire passage is going to be read, A and B. Then you're getting 3 minutes to read the questions that are in English. As we saw, they are in English, you see. If you need a reminder, see, they're in English. And you make notes in this 3 minutes, right? After that 3 minutes is up, the teacher is going to read the passage again in parts. So the teacher is going to read part A, and after the reading of part A is done, you're going to get 5 minutes to select your answer. So you're going to get 5 minutes to answer 1, 2, 3, 4 questions. Bueno, 5 minutes. 5. Yeah? 5. Then the teacher is going to read part B. You're going to be given another 5 minutes to answer 4 questions. Yeah? So 5 minutes to answer 4 questions in English each. That's 10 minutes there already. So 10, and we had 3 from before, that's 13 minutes. After that second 5 minutes after part B is done, the teacher is going to read the entire passage, which is part A and B together, for a third time without stopping. And then you're allowed 4 minutes to review your answers. So that's 3 plus 5 and 5, 13 plus 4, 17 minutes on this section. Your patience and your concentration is going to be required for this section. If not just for the Spanish, also just to, not go crazy with the weights. Because if you know the answers, 5 minutes is a lot, right? I've had students who are not as skilled in Spanish, but when we go through the section, they're kind of like, miss, I'm good. Let's just go to the next part, right? So I've actually never even done this. I've never even actually followed this format with my own students, because they're already like, yeah, miss, we're good. Let's just continue. And they normally still get the answers correct, yeah? So again, please be patient in the exam. Gracias. So without further ado, I am going to read, just read the parts, then I'm going to show the parts to you, and I'm going to translate it. I'm not going to go through the process. No tiene sentido. It doesn't make sense for us right now. We are in a learning process. I'm not conducting mock exams with you guys. I'm just helping the actual exam. Bueno. So without further ado, you want to listen first, and you're going to listen to what I'm going to say, yeah? Beautiful. So we have first date, part A. Adolfo decidió encontrarse con Julia en el parque de diversiones a las 6 de la tarde porque a esa hora hacía más fresco. Era la primera vez que iba a verla en persona. Ya la había conocido en internet y pasaba horas todas las noches charlando con ella por internet. Se sintió un poco nervioso al llegar al parque. Buscaba por todas partes a una muchacha con pelo corto y rizado que llevaba una blusa amarilla y una flor en la mano. Part B now. Como Adolfo tenía sed, se dirigió al café para comprar un refresco. En la distancia podía ver a alguien vestido de amarillo. Era Julia. Era más bonita de lo que se había imaginado. Se saludaron y estaban a punto de marcharse hacia el café cuando oyeron una voz detrás de ellos. Adolfo, ¿quién es tu amiga? Adolfo se volteó, sorprendido al reconocer la voz de su mamá. Ahora creo que entiendo con quién pasas todo tu tiempo hablando por internet, dijo su mamá. Now, if you're not laughing at this as yet, we have some work to do. Don't worry, we're going to get there. This is a really funny one, very relatable, very embarrassing, okay? So I'm going to read part A again, and I'm going to translate as I read for, obviously, your benefit. Part A. Adolfo decidió encontrarse con Julia en el parque de diversiones a las 6 de la tarde porque a esa hora hacía más fresco. So Adolfo, lo siento. I'm going to read. I'm reading and I'm not showing you what I'm reading. Lo siento. I want you to see what I'm reading. I want you to see what I'm reading because it's going to make more sense and because it's a longer passage. So lo siento. Let me see if my screen is going to be, yes, my screen is going to be nice. So this is what the teachers would see when you're reading for this particular year, 2019. Muy bien. So, first date. Yeah. The first date. First date? Yeah, part A. Adolfo decidió encontrarse con Julia en el parque de diversiones a las 6 de la tarde porque a esa hora hacía más fresco. Adolfo decided to meet with Julia in the amusement park, el parque de diversiones, a las 6 de la tarde, at 6 in the afternoon, porque a esa hora, at that time, it would be much cooler. He's very considerate, isn't Adolfo? Yeah? Yes, he is. Era la primera vez que iba a verla en persona. it was the first time that he was going to see her in person. Ya la había conocido en internet. He'd already known her on the internet. Y pasaba horas todas las noches and spent hours every night charlando con ella por internet, chatting with her on the internet, yeah? Se sintió un poco nervioso. He felt, he, oh, lo siento. He felt a little nervous al llegar al parque, as he arrived at the park. Buscaba por todas partes a una muchacha con pelo corto y rizado que llevaba una blusa amarilla y una flor en la mano. He searched everywhere for a girl with short curly hair, so short and curly hair, que llevaba una blusa amarilla who wore a yellow blouse and had a flower in her hand. Yeah? Bueno, and carried a flower in her hand. Bueno. So let's do part B. Como Adolfo tenía sed, as he was thirsty, se dirigió al café para comprar un refresco. He went to the cafe, or he headed, that's a better translation, he headed to the cafe to buy a drink. En la distancia, podía ver a alguien vestido de amarillo. In the distance, he could see someone dressed in yellow. Era Julia. It was Julia. Yes. Era más bonita de lo que se había imaginado. She was prettier than he had even imagined. Se saludaron, they greeted each other, y estaban a punto de marcharse hacia el café, and they were about to head towards, or they're about to walk towards the cafe, cuando oyeron una voz detrás de ellos, when they heard a voice behind them. Adolfo, ¿quién es tu amiga? Adolfo, who is your friend? ¿No? Adolfo se volteó sorprendido al reconocer la voz de su mamá. So Adolfo turned in surprise as he recognized the voice of his mother. Shock, horror, and awe going on right here. Ahora, creo que entiendo con quién pasas todo tiempo hablando por internet. Now I understand. I believe I understand who you've been spending all your time talking to. With whom you're spending all your time talking on the internet, said his mama. Right? So Adolfo got caught. Very funny, right? I know, it's so amusing. It is very amusing. So we are going to go and answer these questions now. Right now. We are going to go and answer these questions. It's going to be so much easier now because we know exactly what the answers are going to be. So part A, why did Adolfo decide to meet at the time he did? Because it was cooler. The guy said that. He's such a gentleman. He says much cooler at 6 o'clock, yeah? 24. How did Adolfo and Julia communicate with each other? Chatting online. It's chatting online. With this, some people wanted to say email. That's kind of confusing, but in this passage, the way it's written, they literally say charlando, right? They literally say that they've been chatting, charlando por internet. So we don't hear por email or por correo electrónico, right? So it's definitely going to be chatting online. That is a different way of communicating than by email, right? 25. Why was Adolfo nervous? Right? He was nervous because it was his first time meeting her. See? Yeah? It's his first time meeting her. He's so nervous, right? 26. How would Adolfo recognize Julia? Well, this part could be tricky. You gotta be careful here. But the actual answer is she will have a flower in her hand. So remember, the description of Julia is that she'd wear yellow dress, yellow top, blusa amarilla. She's gonna have short curly hair and she's gonna have a flower in her hand. Right? So it's not the red dress, it's not her hair be short and straight, it's not a dress with her dress would have a flower pattern, it's gonna be right? And as you see, all these answers were in part A. They did not switch or cross-reference in any way, shape, or form, right? And they're also in order as well, quite thankfully. Part B, for 27. Where was Adolfo when he saw Julia? He was on his way to the cafe, right? So this kind of confused some people. So let me kind of point it out for you. This confused some people. So if we look at, sorry, I'm just going to do the annotations, but if we look down here, let me show you where. Right, so if we're looking here, como Adolfo tenía sed, se dirigió al café para comprar fresco. Right, so he was actually heading to the cafe, right? He was on his way to the cafe. In la distancia podía ver a alguien, and it was Julia. And then they meet. She was so beautiful. They actually greeted each other, and then you're about to head towards the same cafe, right? So he actually did meet her first. Más o menos, ¿sí? ¿Sí? Sí. Bueno. 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 Yeah, good, good. What did fun. What did Adolfo do when he met Julia? Se saludaron. So he greeted her, right? So he actually greeted her. That's what he would have done, right? Right? He greeted her. Bueno. Hey. 29. Why was Adolfo surprised when he heard the voice behind him? It was his mother. He's on a date and his mother is behind him, right? So he was totally shocked, right? I am still trying to do this and I feel like my pen ran out of ink. This is so embarrassing, right? But 29. 29 is A, right now. And for 30, what did the person say to Adolfo, right? What she said is, now I know why you're always on the internet, right? She knows exactly why he's been chatting up a storm. He thinks he's doing everything by himself, and his mother knows exactly what's going on. But that's the superpower that all mothers have. Not so? Exactly. Amazing. All right, so we are done with 2019. See, we're done with 2019 with the listening portion. Now, I hope this was very informative and attentive, and that you were attentive, all right? As I said, I really wanted to go through this particular passage. I don't know if it will repeat. I can't guarantee it's going to repeat this year, 2020, but you simply never know, right? This only came out last year, but it's very possible it may repeat. And it's highly possible that anything we just covered could actually come back for the listening comprehension. All right. So I hope this was beneficial. If it was beneficial, please do leave a comment down below. Also subscribe to the channel so that you can get direct updates for more videos that are going to be coming out. All right. Have a great day and suerte, 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 suerte for your exams. Ciao, ciao.